All right. Good evening or morning or whatever time zone you're in. Hope you're doing well. Tell me in the chat if you can hear me okay. A-okay. Fantastic. All right. Awesome. So it's great to have you here. This is a social circle. So regardless of the time, you're encouraged to drink any form of beverage you wish. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Oh, let me scroll up. Sorry. We're going to work on an estimathon together, and by together, you're going to work in your small table groups. So if you've never used Remo before, it takes some getting used to. It's like a food court or something. So what the heck is an estimathon? So hopefully you see a shared screen if you want to just make that full screen, if that's easier for you to read. So I thought we could take like 5 minutes just to talk about what the rules are. It's sort of like trivia with a little twist. So you're going to have 30 minutes once we're done discussing the rules, and you're going to be given access to 12 problems all at once. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry, I was just so excited to start the estimathon. I'm Chris, and I'm your host. I teach high school math and computer science in Ohio. So go Bucks. And I hope you're good wherever you are and you're safe. So you'll have 30 minutes. You'll have 12 problems. You can see all 12 problems at once. It'll be in a Google document. And you can work on them in any order you want. You might not even solve all of them, etc. Right? So you have total autonomy as to what you do. I only ask 2 things. Of course, you're on a device, so I can't say no devices. But please, no calculators, no like even receipt paper calculators, no slide rules. Of course, you're allowed to have paper and pencil or pen, but no calculating devices. And please, no Googling or whatever browser you're using. No research is allowed. Clearly, you can find these things with one search, but that defeats all the fun, right? The table number that you're at will be your team number. So hopefully that makes things easy. So if you're at table 5, you're team 5. And I thought it'd be good just to talk through an example. So suppose I asked you, how many traffic signals are there in New York City? And you're like, wow, I don't know the exact number. And I would say, good. How about in the chat? What do you think? Throw out a number. How many traffic signals are there in New York City? And again, if you're pulling up your web browser to look, that's not fair. That's not fun. Yeah, so looking in the chat, I saw as low as 300 maybe, and as high as 50-some thousand, right? So who knows how many there are? So the way you're going to present a guess is not to say one answer, but you're going to say a low answer and a high answer. So let's try this again. In the chat, tell me 2 numbers. 100,000, okay. Tell me 2 numbers, maybe separated by a comma, like low, comma, high. Yeah, and these are great questions. Like, what do I mean by New York City? You're going to have to make that decision. I won't be there to sort of make modeling assumptions for you. So, but that's a great question. Like, what do we mean by New York City? What do we mean by a traffic signal? Is it a stop sign? Okay, cool. So the way that you're guessing now is the way you're going to play. And of course, you're going to talk this through with your table mates because you're limited to submissions. So you're going to have to make some strategic choices. And maybe you're not sure, so maybe your interval is a bit wider just so you're confident, right? So let me show you some guesses. Sorry if this is a bit small. So let's see. A guess of min 8,000 to 24,000 max would get a score of 3.0. A min of 8,000 to 20,000 would be a score of 2.5. 10,000 to 20,000 would be a better score, 2.0. If you guessed 10,000 to 16,000, that would be 1.6. So where are these scores coming from? Well, that's just the ratio, right? Now, there's there's more modern scoring. Sometimes this is like floored or the ceiling or something like that. We're just going to take the straight up decimal ratio. So if you guess 10,000 to 12,000, in fact, that's even better. That's a score of 1.2. Oh, what? Wait, I think I messed that up. Sorry. I think that's a score of X. Sorry. We'll see what the actual answer is soon. If you guess 15,000 to 30,000, that's definitely a score of X, meaning wrong. And what if you guess like a super wide interval, 1 to like however many zeros that is? You trap the right value, but you see how that score is just freakishly large, right? If you guessed 12,459 to 12,461, that's like so darn close, and it actually traps the true value. So sorry, this should be a score of X here. I'll fix that later. So what's going on exactly? Well, to get on the scoreboard, your min and max guesses must trap the actual value, right? So think about putting two numbers on a number line, and the true value needs to be somewhere in between. And if you don't trap the true value, you just keep trying, basically. You miss out on that question, but you could guess again. And by knowing what you guessed, that will infer what your next guess should be, right? So maybe you say, well, I think I guessed too low. I need to adjust and guess again. But note that that's another guess that you used. So we won't get into the technical formula of how your overall score is computed. But think of it like golf. The lower score overall, the better. And the more refined ratio you get for each question, the better. So let me wrap up with submitting, and then we'll see if you have any questions. So how are you going to submit? I tried to make this as autonomous, meaning I don't have to do anything, but just listen into your math thinking. You'll have a Google form, and I'll share this link to you where all of this is located. You'll have a Google form where you're going to submit for your team, and any one of you could submit at any time. Please be sure you mark your team number. Remember, that's your table. Your problem number, because we need to know what problem you're solving. There's 12 problems. The min guess and the max guess, right? Just like you were doing in the chat. So here's the catch. There's 12 problems, only 30 minutes, and you get to submit 20 times. So by the pigeonhole principle, right? You can submit. You could submit all 20 times for one problem if you wanted to, right? But you are encouraged to guess multiple times on one question. That way you can refine your guess. Sorry, you can see that I didn't plan this very well. That's nonsense. Okay, so let me show you the submission form. Pretty straightforward, right? You select your team. You select which question you're submitting, and then you type in your low and upper estimate. That's pretty small, but once it's on your device, you'll be fine. And Mandy asked the question of the night, a brilliant question. Chris, you said we can refine our guess, but how are we going to know what our score is, right? The next link, the scoreboard, will have this that's live scoring. My colleague, Emily Dennett, programmed all of this so it updates automatically. And it's tied to the Google form. Pretty cool, huh? So say you submit to question 1 and you know your team 4. Immediately when you submit, you'll see if it's wrong or you'll see if you got some ratio. And then by knowing what you guessed, you could tighten up that ratio, right? So it's good to try to keep track somehow of what you guessed so you can refine that guess later. And then the last link, of course, is the actual questions, right? So I won't show you those. I'll leave those a surprise. And it's small, I know, but once I'm not presenting, you'll see your score. And right now it's like 49,000 or something like that. So basically you have this gigantic score and you're trying to chisel it down by getting questions right and refining your ratio. Okay, any other questions you have? I know this is a lot of info. Yes, the scoring is very opaque, but do you have to capture all 12 values correctly to be eligible to win? Oh, great question. Yeah. I mean, I've had some teams that get, ratios of 1 point something or 2 point something for every question. But I've had teams that, win by just answering 4 questions really well, or they answer all of the questions. And by doing so, they chop down at that score. So, you should watch your score update as you enter. And basically, the more refined you can get, the better. You don't have to answer all the questions, though. And right now, it's basically counting them all as wrong. So you can't really do worse than this unless you guess like 1 to a billion or something for every single one. Then it's going to get even worse. Question about refining. If your second guess puts the correct answer out of range. Yeah, thank you. I think that's what I was typing when I lost my train of thought. Since you're able to re-guess, the latest guess overrides all your previous guesses. So say you have a ratio of 3.5 and you're like, okay, let's guess again and make it better. But then if you're off the mark, that's going to delete the 3.5 that you had and now have an X. So that was a good question, Joshua. Ruth asked, when we get to the tables, I understand we are assigned to a table. I think you can actually just click on a table. I'm not sure how. I think you should be able to see what table you're at. Spencer, am I wrong? The private chat for your table will say which table you're at, Anne says.
Yep. So, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So on your bottom bar, when you go to the tables, you'll see something that says chat. You actually click that and it'll let you know the name of the table. You can find it by scanning around the board, but it's easier to just kind of look for chat and then see what you are. And you're able to freely click on a table to go ahead and move to a new one.
Nice. Yes, I would encourage you, though, once you're at a table, right, you don't want to bounce around and like heckle other teams as they're thinking. So, and you definitely want to be sure that you're at a table with other folks. You don't want to do this alone. So I want to be sure you have about 30 minutes to explore. I'm going to post the whole Google Doc that we looked through in the chat, and at the bottom are those 3 links. And I'm going to start the time in about 1 minute, so I'll give you some quick discussion. And then at 30 minutes, we'll come together and maybe do some quick reflection and award the winner. Any last-minute questions that you might have? I'm not going to tell you the answers. That's your job. I'll share with you the answers at the end if you'd like. How large of groups? I think you're limited to maybe 6 per table, something like that. So if you see a table of 2 instead of starting a new table, maybe try to fill the tables as densely as you can. That way you'll have more knowledge to share. All right, so here's the link. Go ahead and click that. And hopefully I see lots of people populate as like anonymous rhino or whatever. Ooh, look at all this. Nice. And if you scroll to the bottom, you can click on submission form, scoreboard, and questions. Are you able to click on any of those? Let me be sure it's shared so you can view. Yep. Okay, so I will stop presenting. Go ahead and talk. You should need permission. It's shared with anyone on the internet. Permission for the form, really? Okay, I'll try that again. Maybe I made it so that was the edited version. Let me try this. Okay, see if you can click on the submission form now. Still being weird. Okay, how about you start looking at problems, because you don't need the submission form just yet. And at least you can start thinking about the math. Are you able to click on the questions? Okay, great. So I'm going to stop presenting and I'll try to troubleshoot the form. Were you able to see the scoreboard? Could you tell me that? Awesome. Man, you're a good group. Okay, so think through the questions with one another and I'll troubleshoot the submission form.
Is there a reason you want to lower the floor, or it just feels like too many episodes?
No, just I'm a conservative man. Push the intervals wide.
24 times 30, right? 720. Do you feel like it might be more than that? I think we're pretty much at exactly 30 years. It might be 30. I remember it coming out when I was a sophomore in high school, so I can do math. 720, 500 to 720.
Yeah, we could go up to 600. There's probably a minimum of 20 episodes a season.
Yeah, so if we did 600 and you want to push the maximum up a little bit, like maybe 750, 600 to 750.
What's the most episodes you could air in a season?
I mean, who knows? What will networks pay for? Not a lot more than 22 or 24 episodes a season. So, especially these days when they all are making $1 bajillion an episode.
Let's try 600 to 750.
600 to 750.
I feel good about that.
Who's entering it?
Let's have a point
I have it up
person.
if you want to enter it.
Do it, Laura.
Yeah.
600, 750, and we are table 4.
Yes.
Are we?
Unless I've missed something, but we were
Yeah.
we were table 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. This is number 1.
Let me see. So we're the scoreboard.
Well, Nick, we'll find out maybe if we miss the interval.
Oh,
maybe.
we got it. We got it.
No, we got it.
We're in first place, in fact.
Okay. Looking good. Trust our instincts. Okay.
I say move on. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like
of
it's better to try to answer all the questions at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can come back.
Mm-hmm. All right. What is our next one? I have too many windows open right now. I'm like clicking between.
The number of Olympic sports of the first Olympics, 1860, the first modern Olympics, 1896.
Oh.
20, 30?
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot less than today.
Yeah.
Now, would those have been Summer Olympics, right? Like what we would think of Summer Olympics?
And they were big into track and field back then. And I don't know what else.
I'm not sure what else they'd have. Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be very big. I'm thinking single digits here.
See, I would think more than single digits, but not a lot more.
Max of 20, do you think?
I'm trying to think. I'm with you guys. Like, what would they have done other than track and field events? Like, what would they have? Well, did they do like wrestling? I'm trying to think of like really old school.
And did they do swimming, Ben? Who knows? I don't know.
Something with horses?
Exactly. There you go.
See, and I don't. Would they have done something with horses, or was it just like human feats of strength and agility and things like that?
I have a weird idea. Like, might just have been a marathon, like just one race or something.
I mean, it could have been.
It could be a trick question.
Actually, like length swimming pools. Like for the swimming piece, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And do the different distances, I mean, if they only did but like different distances of runs, those all count as different events, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they do today, so
Yeah, I'm sure that they would have had sprints and marathons. Well, I'm not sure.
What about we go like 5 to 15 or something like that?
I think it's a little more than 15, 5 to 20.
All right, I can get behind that.
Yeah, and then we can refine it.
yeah.
Okay. Leah?
I think going low with 5. If we miss this, we know we're gonna have to go further up. Surely there was at least
Yeah.
5,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you would not have an Olympics for 3 events. I feel like.
So 5 to 20.
Now your ratio really changes a lot with those lower number, right? If 5 versus 4 versus 6 or 7 really changes the, so you know what I'm saying? It actually does make a difference, a bigger difference in those lower bounds.
Yeah. Do you want me to submit it?
Yeah.
What do
We got it.
It's somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go
Wow.
team.
That's
Go
why.
team.
But it's in there. Okay.
Okay.
I still feel like we just keep going forward, and if we have time, we can come back and try to refine.
I think you're right. We're in first place. Make them chase it.
Yeah. Number of McDonald's in the world.
Ooh. Ooh.
How many McDonald's are in a big city? I don't even know.
Ugh.
The sad thing is I feel like I was reading an article recently that was talking about McDonald's, number of McDonald's in comparison to number of something else, like whether it was number of subways or right? Like it was an article about something else and it just kind of compared it to number of McDonald's. And I want to say it was a 5-digit number. I don't know why.
I'm having 30,000 is in my head. I don't know where that came from, but that's my initial gut.
Okay.
I like that. I like the tens of thousands. I think that's a good.
I want to say it's a 5-digit number, and then other than that,
20,000 to 40,000 or 50,000. Put a 30 in the middle.
20 to 50.
Yeah.
Sure.
20 to
Yeah.
50. Okay.
Where's the clock on this? Like,
that's true. I don't know what time we started. Did anyone pay attention to what time we started?
No, I think we're gonna have a hard time getting 20 guesses in even.
yeah.
So.
Well, it's like, should we actually be calculating, or should we just, going with some sort of gut instinct? But
yeah.
20,000 to 50,000.
See, and in my head, there's the competitor in me that's like, the rest of us should be figuring out the next answer while she's entering. But there's also the competitor in me that wants to see our score for the last question. So, and go us, we're getting it. We're doing awesome.
okay, good, great.
Someone else has the exact same ratio as us.
Okay.
Oh, really? All right.
That's interesting.
We're up in the top there. Number of words in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Is that
Skip.
Movies or books?
Yeah, good question.
Are the movies based on books, on separate books? I only know the movie. I think so.
I would
I'm gonna start
say
thinking about the next one. I'm gonna skip this one and start thinking about the next one.
The next one is a math question.
Next one's a math question. Yeah.
Okay.
Whole numbers less than 10,000 containing the digit 7, at least one digit 7.
So actually, this is the kind of question where you want to do the other one, figure out how many numbers don't have any 7s in them and subtract from 10,000. Because that's easier to do. Sorry, I coach math counts. This is like totally a competition style problem. And
that would be just 9 to the 4th power, except for the.
Well, you have to be careful.
Zeros, yeah.
But I guess if you had zeros as your first 3 digits, that's then making it a smaller number. No, that works.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So is it just 10?
So 9 to the 4th power, which is 81 squared.
Wait. One of them. Three. 4.
Okay, I get 3,438.
Is that the 81 squared or is that 1,000?
That's the well 99.99 minus the 81 squared.
Oh.
That does not feel right to me.
That does not feel right.
What did you say?
I got 3,438.
So more than half the numbers have a 7 in it? It could be.
No, that's out of 10,000. That's less than half.
Okay,
3,438.
So it's. Wait, are we saying how many do have a 7 or don't have a 7? Oh,
How many do have a
how
7?
many do?
So what I did, so 9 to the 4th power is the same as 81 squared.
Mm-hmm.
When I did 81 squared, I got 6,561. And then, so that should be how many numbers have no 7s anywhere in it. You're choosing any other digit besides the 7
For all 4, I can choose.
for all four place values.
I can choose 9,
Um,
9, 9, 9.
Right? And so
It's easy as
9,999 minus that would be how many numbers do have a 7? It's, what is that? Complementary counting? Is that what it's called?
I buy that. It feels. I mean, I think that doesn't intuitively feel right, but your logic is convincing.
Well, there are 1,000 of them that have a 7 in the thousands place, right?
Mhm.
There are 100 of them that have a 7 in the hundreds place for each other possible
Yeah.
1,000,
Yeah,
Right.
right?
that sounds good. Yeah,
So that's like 4,000 right there, but then they're double
you start,
counting.
yeah, you
so
start
a
to,
double
little
counting.
bit
Yeah.
less than 4,000. So
All right, let's put a small window on either side of that. And then
yeah,
So, well, if you calculated it, should we say 3,000? I'm writing it down before I type it in. So
That's right.
3,437.
so the answer I got is 3,438.
That's what
And
I meant to say.
And if you want to trust my math, we can do like one number on either side.
yeah, let's just go one number on either side.
And
Oh.
if we're wrong, then we're gonna get the X.
and
we're
then,
gonna
then we can
and then we can
circle up.
reevaluate.
Yeah,
Okay.
And make sure you put it for question 5, Leah, because we skipped number 4.
I'm feeling
Yes,
good.
thank you. Yeah. So,
Good job.
I keep putting the wrong team in. So, team first, then question. I did not submit a first team, by the way.
Chris,
But I
can
just-
you hear us?
Team 4, question 5. We said 34,000.
No, 3,400.
3,400.
And then if we go one lower and one higher, that would be 3,437, and then 3,439.
Chris, you should have a pencil in your hand to take notes on how the first place team operates.
Am I looking at the first place team?
Well,
We were last time
According to
we
your
checked.
score sheet,
It sounds like Leah was entering answers for a different team, though.
Did we get it?
Chris, what's our time?
Yeah.
What's the time?
We got us with 1.00.
Yes.
You have 18 minutes left.
Okay.
18 minutes left. All right.
Yes. Now I think this is more fun physically. One, because we're like heckling one another, and you have slips of paper once you run out, etc. But this is working quite well digitally. I'm pleased with
yeah,
this.
this is fun.
Yeah. Thank you very much for all the
What's been your
arrangements.
favorite question so far?
What's that?
What's been your favorite question so far?
Well, the one that Nanette just nailed right
Yeah.
is the Lord of the Rings one, is that the movie or the books? Or you're not sure?
Did I tell you?
Oh, it's up to us. I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah, I
Can
don't know
you
what
tell
the-
us if we?
The 3 books.
Before-
not the movie.
Okay, the books.
Okay.
Now, one team read that as worlds, not words. And Well, there's Hobbit land or whatever, Mordor. I'm like, it says words, not worlds. Okay, keep at it.
Thank you.
I threw a
Yeah.
minute stopwatch so we can at least have an idea when the time's getting close.
Great.
Oh, nice.
So number 10 is very mathy.
Yeah. And I'm going to throw out number 9 as there just because I think we can get a pretty good window on number 9. Race cars. I think race cars go like 200 miles an hour. So we can just put throw a quick window around 200 miles an hour.
That sounds okay to me.
Okay.
Maybe on the higher than that, right? The higher.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm just saying for like we can get a window with a ratio less than 2 probably. And
Why don't we just do that one? What do we want the window to be?
I think I'm gonna,
to 250. Like, could it be faster?
I'm pretty sure it's over 200. I'm not positive. Let's try 200 to 250 and see what happens for number 9.
Okay.
And if we get it wrong, we can expand it a little bit.
This is question 9. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Fine.
good.
Yep.
All right, we're halfway done, and we've gotten 5 of them right already.
On number 7, I've seen sometimes at the grocery store, if you bring in like a lot of quarters, I've seen them put it on the scale, and there is like this amount costs this much. Does anyone have a guess or a knowledge of how much certain quarters weighs? Like 4 quarters, $1. Like, how much would that weigh?
Well,
Or-
when you put quarters into rolls and you roll your coins, is there a weight for one roll?
That's not a pound, is it? A roll wouldn't be a pound.
It seems
No,
heavier.
but she's just saying, do we know what that weighs, right?
Yeah,
Like-
no, I'm guessing, or I'm just kind of talking out loud.
Oh, okay.
Is that $10 in a roll?
Yeah,
It's
that's
been a
40 quarters yeah.
It's been a long time.
So 40 quarters.
I'm trying to remember like the feel of it in my hand.
Yeah.
Like, how much did it feel like it weighed?
I'm gonna go with half a pound as a vibe. but
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, actually.
For a roll for
for a
40?
roll.
Yeah, for
For
10
$10.
bucks. Yeah. So
And then what's it asking about a ton? So you'd have
that would be
So times
4,000
4,000?
4,000 times 10, so $40,000. Is that right?
if that's a half pound. So I don't know if it's. I mean, yeah, I don't know the window.
Wait.
It seems like it would be a little heavier than a half pound, but
That's what I'm.
Well, what's the max? Let's do the weight. I like the weight. This reasoning though. Let's put like a minimum on the weight and a maximum on the weight, and then we can easily do the conversion.
okay. Yeah, since it's $10 for a roll. Yeah, that's true. A
It's at least a
pound?
quarter pound. It's at
Or-
least a quarter pound, I think.
Yeah, min.
I think half pound might be a low end, but we can say a quarter pound to be safe, and then it's not more than 2 pounds, is it?
I'd say a pound and a half.
Definitely. Yeah, maybe a pound and a half.
I don't think it's more than 1 pound.
I know. I was like, I want to say it's 1 pound, but I don't want to be too wide.
But I don't know.
It's true. I'd rather get an answer with some kind of score rather than like.
Can we do 1/3 pound of 1 and 1/3?
Yeah, that puts us at $10,000 to $80,000. If we do a quarter pound to 2 pounds.
That's too wide.
You
Yeah.
think? I feel like
We're
it might be worth it to have an answer to have a score there instead of having a wrong answer like we do. Right now if we don't
Yeah,
have an answer,
That's true. That's true.
Counting it
Yeah,
wrong.
we got guesses to play with. Let's go ahead.
Okay, 10,000 to 80,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is number 7.
that's got to be right. Maybe it's the first one we get wrong.
That would be something.
Hey, there's first times for everything. It's okay if we miss it. It's all right. I'm not gonna let that take us down.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it. Okay, so that's in the window.
Okay.
So we can refine that real quick. Let's go to 20,000 to 60,000. That would reduce our ratio to 3. We got plenty of guesses to play with. We can keep this if we want.
The event has been extended.
I think that just means the overall thing, not our gameplay time.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I've seen that pop up in other sessions.
Okay, we did not get a cushion right there.
So 20,000 to 60,000.
Yeah, that gives us a ratio of 3. That's like the half a pound to 1.5 pound window. All right, that's annoying.
I was gonna say they really want us to know that.
All right, we still got it.
Okay.
Or quite a bit.
So we can come back to.
We can come back to
come
that
back
one
to
if we
there,
want. Yeah.
So I was looking at the number 10 one. My question is, do you think that is including squares? Because they're very specifically saying horizontal or vertical rectangles, which makes me imagine there is one side longer than another, but I don't know for sure.
It's a good. Yeah, why would they go out of their way? But if they were excluding squares, I don't know. I feel like they might say that. But I agree with you. That is confusing the way it says horizontal or vertical.
Because if it includes squares, I know how to find the answer. If I have to discount squares, that changes the math.
Include the squares.
Yeah, let's include the squares. They're rectangles technically.
Yeah.
Um,
And we've only used one guess so far.
How do you do it, Nanette? Is it easy to?
So if it's a 20 unit by 20 unit grid, that actually means there are 21 like possible vertices, and you need to choose 2 vertically and 2 horizontally. So it's 21 choose 2 times 21 choose 2. Because you're picking right, top level, bottom level, left side, right side, and right whatever wherever those lines all intersect is your rectangle, if squares are allowed.
Okay. Squares or not.
Wait. If you pick 2, that doesn't make a rectangle necessarily, does it? If you randomly pick. So can you say that one more time?
Sure. So, right. Think first. Just I need to pick my 2 amongst this grid, right? I need to pick 2 horizontal lines to be the horizontal size of my rectangle. And if it's a 20 unit grid, that means there's actually 21 possible horizontal lines.
Okay, thank you. Is somebody calculating that?
I think it's like 44,000, right? 21 choose 2. Is that 21 times 20 divided by 2? Is that right?
Right.
That's right. So it's 210 squared.
So 210 squared.
44,100. So
Yes, that's what I got.
All right.
So we can try to like just that particular number, go one up and one down like we did before, and see if it's right. And if it's not right, then we have to figure out how to get rid of the squares.
Sure.
I like that answer, and I like the explanation too.
Okay. So 44,099 to 44,101.
Yes, please.
That is number 10.
I'm gonna start thinking about the Lake Superior one. I like
That's
that. But I'm from Ohio. We got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is why I love math guys. Yay, math.
Good job.
Shout out to Math Counts for running the rest of you middle school teachers. It's a great program.
Wait, what? Math what?
Math Counts.
Math.
It's a problem solving competition that's just for middle school. So 6th through 8th grade only.
We're still in first.
Which one do we want to do next? Are we talking about Lake Superior or no?
What's the area? What is the size of Lake Superior?
The largest freshwater body in the world. That helps us not.
300 by 100? It's just surface area? What do you think? Is that too big?
No, that's too small, I think.
That's too small.
It took 3 hours on a ferry to get from Michigan to the island that's in the middle of it.
Is that going north-south or is that going east-west?
This is going to Isle Royal. So it was maybe it was more north-south. There may have been a little bit of a diagonal.
Okay.
I don't know how fast.
And then, of course, the question would be like, what's an average depth?
That's right. I think an average depth would be like 1,000 feet or some fraction of a mile.
I was gonna say a lot less than that. I was gonna say average. Well, I was actually gonna say 200 or 300, but
yeah, that makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It does. Well, right here, this is the window of the.
Yeah.
I was at a 40-acre lake and the depth was 80 feet. So I would say much closer to 1,000.
5 minutes.
Oh, look at that. They're trying to encourage other people to catch up to us.
Oh, people are catching up. Come on.
Let's just take a wide berth on this one. Small end, 300 by 100 miles by...
What fraction?
1/10 of a mile. Now that's still 500 feet deep. That feels deep to me.
Yeah.
Average.
Yeah, that's probably too deep for an average.
1/20. So that brings us down to 15,000 cubic miles.
No, 1,500.
1,500. No, 15,000, right? Do I have the wrong zeros? Oh, you're right. I do have the wrong zeros.
So maybe we're off by a factor of at the other end, our surface area might be off by a factor of 2.
I was going to ask, is that what you think is in the middle? Is that what you think is a low end or a high end?
I think the low end, 1,500 cubic miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think 300 by 100 is too small for the surface area, but it's not way too small.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's
So
not
you
way too
can
small.
double it to 60,000 and then maybe 1,000 feet deep. So that's 1/5, right, of a mile. So 12,000 cubic
That's
miles.
probably too, yeah, maybe like 15. Let's do 1,500 to like 9. Let's do 1,500 to 9,000.
Okay.
1,500 to 9,000.
Are we good with that?
Sure. We're running out of time and we got guesses to burn.
Yeah.
What about like last second shot here at the number of active religions throughout the world? That's number 12.
52. I don't know.
Yeah, what counts as a religion? This was got a tough.
Yeah.
What about number of Americans below the poverty line? We can probably squeeze that in a
What
window.
percentage of people? Is it like a fifth?
It's almost, yeah, it's like 1/5, right? That's right. I think it's between
A fourth and a fifth?
15
Wow.
and 25%.
So then how many people are in America? Like 300 million or is
It's
that?
like more like 360 million.
330, 340, maybe.
Yeah. So
All
it's,
right, so I'm just going to say 350 million, and we want to say somewhere between what, 1/5 and
so that's
a
70
fourth?
million. Yeah, 70 million right in the middle, or kind of towards. Let's go 60 million to 100 million. That gives us a low score, and almost definitely we'll capture it.
That's a lot of people.
Wait,
It's
what did
really
you say?
sad.
What's
So
Yes,
we're
our,
on question 11.
yeah.
Wait, how
So
did Lake Superior do?
They got
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
they got
we got it? Okay.
Okay, so question 11, Nick, tell her those numbers again. You said 60 million to
I think 60 million to 100 million.
It's really hard to do zeros when there's no.
Yeah.
We did not get it.
Huh.
We didn't.
I think it's
So-
if we are, it's got to be less than 60 million. Then it's not more than 100 million. I
Right.
don't know.
30 million?
30 to 60.
if we drop it to yeah.
Yeah. But if this doesn't capture it, then unfortunately I think we're too low. But 30 to 60 should be right. I got
Yes,
it.
we got
Sweet.
it. We got 1 minute left. Any last stabs?
Active religions, 200.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, 200. Let's go. Let's just put something in there.
Do,
For
like
problem 12,
50 to 200? Like
50 to 300. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Did we get it? No.
no. So is 50 too high or 200 too low?
I think
Maybe
200 is
50 is too
low.
high.
No,
Maybe
I
50 is
think
too
200.
high.
I think 200 is good. So let's do 50. Let's do
There's like
200.
10 cults in my town.
Yeah.
So 50 to 500?
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think like Christianity is only one, and that's like
Well,
That's what I don't
know.
know, right? Are they
Yeah,
counting
that's
all the
right.
different?
That's a good question.
Well,
I
then
think
it could be-
I like Christianity would be one, Islam would be one. I think it's probably under 50.
50 to 500 was too high. Still.
Okay, so then we should do 10 to 50.
Yeah, let's do that.
there's no way. There's only 50 religions. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
So
All right, let's do 500 to 5,000 or something.
okay.
Hey, we got that.
Okay.
So there's more than 500 religions in the world. Holy cow.
Well, it all depends on how you guess it or how you count it too.
Yeah. That is definitely one of those interpretation things, like what Ruth was saying. I guess I'm thinking of major religions, and they're talking about very tiny divisions between different, sects of different. Yeah, wow.
Good
We
job.
still-
everyone.
Hey, we did so great. We
Nice job, team.
I'm impressed about you guys figuring out the Lake Superior thing. I didn't want to touch that with the 10-foot pole.
We did them all except 2. So
Which ones did we not do?
My Wi-Fi is really going wild. Okay, so I hope you had fun. I hope you met some new folks. There were some kinks, but as long as you had fun, that's all that mattered. Some great math thinking. Here are the official answers. I'll have to check with Emily, but I'm sure she would say go for it. If you're interested in something like this, shoot me an email, and I'll try to share some resources with you. If you'd like to have a copy of stuff like this, the form, the spreadsheet, I'll gladly share. Okay, so there's a session happening in 30 seconds. If you scroll up, Brianna shared those details. There's a grade 1 to 3, and there's one on infinite fractions. So I hope to see you at one of those, and hope to see you in a future session. We've got 4 more days of awesome stuff. Thanks for coming. See you around.